Hello and welcome to RC Birds, and thanks for stopping by. In the last 3 weeks I showed my RGT Challenger Pro Crawler. I changed the design a little bit, did a pre-run check and run it on small and bigger rocks. And I got a great feedback from you, my dear viewers. So it's time to do a review before I start to change crude things and the car won't be stock anymore. This is a longer video, so grab a drink and/or snack, lay back and have fun with this video. So let's begin with the car itself. In the box you get a car, a manual and the transmitter. You only need 4 AA's for the transmitter and a running battery. A 2S or 3S LiPo or a 5 to 9 cell nickel metal hydride. And for sure a charger. But this is nothing which might be an issue. The car is a not licensed power wagon style. The body is painted from both sides and has grippy feeling on the outside. That the paint is flat is really cool. The body sits tight on the chassis and has wheel wells, closing it tight up to the chassis and preventing dirt from coming inside. And the inside is tidy too. All wires are binded and fixed in their places. For the suspension and the steering you get metal linkages and drive shafts. The car is fully bore raced. That the gears are greased and the shocks are filled to a perfect state is also a good example for the effort RGT puts into the manufacturing. And speaking about the shocks, you have some choosable options on the mounts. And the mounts are also reinforced with a metal bar. The shocks have a droop setup. The tires are in a Hyrex style. They are vented and have foam inside and do a great job. They are glued on the rims. These are fake plastic beadlocks. But what I really like is that the wheel axles sticking out around 5 mm out of the wheel nut. So you have some play if you like to use offset rims as a customization. All servos have metal gears. You get a 35 kg for the steering and a 25 kg for the winch. I also like that the steering wheel servo is mounted on the axle. The motor is a Hobbywing Fusion SE 1800 kV. It's slightly downgraded, but to this I'll come later. The battery tray has a standard size and batteries up to 13.8 cm fit into it. The crawler has only 2 yellow shining headlights, which give enough light for the run. The switchable sway bar gives the car the last roundup. This is everything for the Overlook, so let's talk about some details. For the radio I have to say, it's like the car very sorted. It has 8 functions and the buttons are mounted on the transmitter in the direction they might be probably frequently used, which allows a fast learning curve in the handling of the car. I'm not talking about the obvious throttle and steering. The first switch on the transmitter is for the drive modes: dig, 2-wheel drive and 4-wheel drive. The manual even tells you how you can switch the direction of it, if you like to go the other way around. Then comes the gear button, the next one is free, and the button at the bottom is for the sway bar. The 2 buttons for the winch are sitting on the top of the radio. Trim, dual rate and reversers are under a protective lid, so you cannot change them unintentionally while driving. I give some extra points that the switches are illuminated when in function. The steering wheel is made of hard plastic. This is nothing I care about. You can use the transmitter on one-hand steering, and if the size of your fingers fit, you can put on every button a finger. Unfortunately, I found out some cons on this car. On the outside of the box, RGT says you get rubber-sealed ball bearings. My Challenger has only metal-sealed ones. The rims are feed bait locks, the tires are glued on the rims. The winch can do 25 kg, but the hook is only at 15 kg. And speaking about the winch, it uses 2 buttons on the radio named channel 3 and 4. This is okay, but I miss a button or switch for the 4th channel. The drive shafts aren't put together properly. The U-joints or jokes on each side of the shafts should be on the same layer and direction. Not a big issue, but you better check them before running and align them if needed. On my pre-run check I also saw that the pinion isn't set properly on the spur gear. I suspect they put on the motor mount first and then the pinion onto the motor axle. In this direction of assembling you cannot fix the grub screw, so I had to unscrew the motor mount and loose the grub screw. Then I had to find the right spot for the pinion on the motor axle. It took me some tries with a loose motor mount, but after finding the right spot I secured the pinion, screwed on the motor mount again and reassembled everything. So always do a check, even on RTRs. The shifting of the drive modes, dig, 2-wheel drive and 4-wheel drive, is a little bit awkward first, but it gets better with every use. My crawler was very loud on the first tries. I suspected the gears. They are greased and well covered. To prevent wear, this is enough, but I recommend to put some extra grease into the gears. This reduces the sound immediately. My biggest point on the con list is the motor combi. I think I had read somewhere that the car should have a BSC, which means full 7.4 volts on the steering servo. The manual says that you only get 6 volts out of it, which means on easy math that the 35 kg servo can deliver only around 28 kg. This is still impressive, but not what I hoped for. Further, I got no informations about the programming of the motor. RGT doesn't have to deliver the program card with the car, although this would be a great gadget. But many modelers have it or would purchase one. It's only around 10 bucks. But even then, it's useless. You don't know what is behind every step the card shows you. On the programming of a regular Fusion SE, you can switch the BSC, so there might be slightly a chance of changing it to 7.4 volts. I really hope RGT or Hobbywing will release the program scheme pretty soon. This might help every driver a lot for adjusting the motor for a better performance. I wrote a mail to Hobbywing to get the instructions. If I get it, I'll do another video about it. But this is all I found, and most things are easy to fix. So let's get back to the performance. I did a street hunt test, just for getting plain numbers. No matter if speed counts for a crawler, I know you liked my video about the speed run with my Beluga, so I did it again. I used a 2S 4000 mAh and 50C battery. The car might be faster on 3S, but as I said, speed's the last thing you expect from a crawler. The first run was on 2-wheel drive, low and high speed, and the same on 4-wheel drive. The results are 3.8 miles per hour on low and 7.2 miles an hour on high gears for the 2-wheel drive. For the 4-wheel drive, I got 5.2 miles an hour and 7.4 miles an hour. Please keep in mind that the 4-wheel drive mode has a 6% overdrive. So in low gear, the rear axle gives a little extra boost, but in high gear it works more like a brake, and the amount of more speed is only a little bit over the 2-wheel drive. Another thing I tested was the turning radius. This gave me the results: 4-wheel drive around 52 centimeters, 2-wheel drive around 35 centimeters, and 2-wheel drive with dick around 16 centimeters. I think the last number stands for itself. I apologize that you cannot see the numbers on the customs rule that I put on the curb. So let's get off-road and let the Challenger do what it's made for. I did my crawlings on 4-wheel drive with the sway bar open. The crawling performance is very good. The droop works perfect. The Challenger really sticks to the surface. The flex of this crawler is amazing, and even if it gets stuck on a rock, it can free itself. The tires bite good, but look a little bit stiff. And even the suspected 6V BSC delivers enough strength for the control of the steering. With the brushless motor, you get a lot of control over the Challenger. On 1800 kV it has enough power to pull the car up to an obstacle. The drag brake engages fast and can hold the car on the spot. The point of gravity can be lowered a little bit more, so you can get more stability out of the car. All in all, this is a great crawler, right out of the box, and you get a great performance out of it for the money. What else did I notice? I had to get warm with the winch. Servo winch, cool. 25 kg strength is even cooler. But keep in mind, the hook can only take 15 kilograms. With this I can lift or change it into a stronger hook. But the winch is at the rear, and that is the point. You get around 60 centimeters out of the roll. This is just enough to get to the front of the car, but not far away from it. If I might do an extra construction with turning rolls under or over the car, the wire can be led to the front. But you need at least twice of the length of the wire. So I fear the roll on the servo has to be made bigger too. RGT for sure mounted the winch to the rear, so that the tilting mechanism of the body work. If you like to use the winch out on the course now, you'll have to turn the car and go over an obstacle in reverse. I'm not sure if this is even possible every time. Or if you got stuck, then you can pull yourself out in reverse. Right now I don't even see a chance to get over an obstacle in forward mode. Okay, you're the good chap who can tow every other car out of a stuck situation. Or you can assist yourself while going down on steep declines. I really don't know. At the moment I'm really not sure what I do with the winch. If I find a situation as I get a successful use, I'll let you know. Or if you have some good idea, please let me know in the comments. So let's get to the big elephant in the room. Why do a crawler need a sway bar? Sway bars are often used for cars which are going through corners on high speeds. In this case, the sway bar minimizes the roll of the car, but this doesn't count for a crawler. Even I crawl with an open sway bar. And on trailing, the car isn't so fast that it should show any effects. But there's one thing or issue a crawler have. It's called torque twist, especially on steep inclines. For those who don't know this effect, it means the motor gets to its limit, and instead of moving the car forward, the front axle starts to lift on one side, which is mechanically easier to do for the system. The rule stands: everything in nature chooses the path of the lowest resistance. If you get torque twist on a run or a climb, there's only one wheel of the front axle which now bites into the surface. This is not our desire and is special on the Challenger, which has an overdrive. To countermeasure this effect is the job of the sway bar. If you lock it on the Challenger, the flex in the rear axle is reduced and the whole car is stiffer. So the front axle stays or should stay on the surface or won't flex so easy. You might not need this function, but it's nice to have and gives you a little bit extra control in case you need it. Resume. The Challenger Pro is a great crawler, right out of the box, which is easy to drive and prevents a lot of fun. The functions and capability on crawling are awesome. This also counts for beginners. The driving performance shows awesome results, and if you have a trigger-happy kit, the throttle can be dual-rated. Also the steering. But this should be opened up to 100% before the first run. The wheels don't hit parts of the suspension. In my mind, the price is quite fair. Other crawlers in that range need some more upgrades to get on this crawling stage. But for sure, the Challenger Pro also has some downs. Where's light, there's always shadow. And some of the points I mentioned might be due to the first version. Maybe RGT delivers the program sheet on their homepage as a download pretty soon. This might help to change the performance to the personal needs of the driver, turning the BSC to 7.4 volts and for me to shut off the FOC. And I hope the next produced versions have rubber sealed ball bearings. Oh, and keep in mind, because of the FOC and drag brake, the Challenger is very energy thirsty. I run it over 2 hours on one battery, but if you take a lot of obstacles, better take a second battery with you. All in all, the pros are outweighing the cons. This car runs so smooth and has a lot of flex. The operation is so easy. And for me, this is a first crawler with a droop configuration. I was skeptical, but was proven wrong right from the first minute of crawling. I love my Challenger Pro and don't regret the purchase. And for sure, there'll be more RGTs in my collection in the near future. For sure, I do some changes on my Challenger, which aren't necessary. I will change the wheels into other tires, inlays and beadlock rims. This is also the only thing I would highly recommend for you. The stock tires are really stiff. The bite's okay, but I would like to see them getting more in touch with uneven surfaces. And lowering the center of gravity with more weight on the wheels is an easy improvement that also prevents the car from rolling. I'm also thinking about the use of the free channel. Rock lights might be cool. And maybe there are some additional scale details. I'll see. For sure, I will keep you informed about those changes. If you stayed with me until here, I thank you for watching and hope you get some help with this video. If you got some questions, the comment section is yours. And as always, please like, share and subscribe. See you soon on RC Birds.